What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and this is your stimulus check update and your stimulus package update. And yes, my family and I, we made it safe to Houston, Texas, and this is the first day that I'm going to be recording and uploading to y'all. So I'll be sure to get you guys a house tour so you can see the new place here in Houston, Texas, get you caught up on everything that's been unfolding here. But today, in this video, as I mentioned, this is your stimulus check update and your stimulus package update. So let's go ahead and dive right in, as we've got the latest that the House of Representatives, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, they have passed a first portion of the infrastructure bill. And what we're hearing is that they're hoping that this will be the prerequisite to get things going, and also pass alongside it a second portion that will provide human infrastructure in the form of new stimulus provisions. We've heard that there could be a fourth stimulus check. We've heard that there could be free childcare, free college tuition, and also an extension of the child tax credit. So I'm going to dive right in, get you caught up on the latest as to what's unfolding right now with stimulus. We've got some articles we're going to dive into and get you caught up as of today, July 2nd, 2021. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you like and appreciate these updates, don't forget to take a second to just smash that like button. I appreciate it. Just takes a second. Really helps me out a ton. Also, leave your comments. Share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. And if this is your first time here, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. It'll allow you to stay up to date and come and join the viewing community. Come and join the Ram fam. And if you got any specific questions that you want me to answer, be sure to shoot them to me on Instagram at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest as to what's unfolding right now with the latest on stimulus. All right, so first, here it is. Here's the video footage of them passing the first part of this bill in the House of Representatives yesterday.
On this vote, the yeas are 221, the noes 201. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
All right, so there it is. We saw that passed yesterday in the House of Representatives, and that was that first portion of the infrastructure bill. And we saw articles come out like this. Take a look. House passes $715 billion transportation and water infrastructure bill. And I know this kind of might have seemed a little bit shocking, because we had just heard a little while ago that Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said that the House won't take up a bipartisan bill until the Senate votes on reconciliation. And what we actually saw was they did pass it in the House, but what we're hearing is they're hoping that this will be a prerequisite to get things going for that second portion, and then they want to get them passed together. And so we actually did see this push through, and they're hoping that this will be the framework, because there was by no means any Republican support. I think there was only two. It was pretty much party lines on which this passed in the House of Representatives. So we're going to see, and as you guys know, we saw President Joe Biden kind of flipping back and forth as to whether or not he wanted to pass something, and we heard that his words were kind of misconstrued, but now we're hearing that they're back on track, and now we're seeing the House pass this. So let's go ahead and dive into the details of this article and let you know what we saw unfold and what was included in this first portion of the infrastructure bill. So link in the description below to this CNN Politics article that just came out yesterday that says the House of Representatives voted on Thursday to approve a $715 billion transportation and water infrastructure bill focused on improving and repairing roads, bridges, transit, and rail, and ensuring clean drinking water. So once again, just to clarify, this is focused on physical infrastructure, which is pretty much the traditional roads, bridges, highways like you'd imagine. Now, the second portion is where we're hearing there will be more stimulus provisions that will provide money to people. So we're going to be seeing what's going to be unfolding with that portion. But yesterday they passed this first one for traditional infrastructure. Now, reading on it says the vote was 221 to 201, with 2 Republicans voting with Democrats in favor. So pretty much almost right down party lines. And it says House Democrats say the bill, known as the Invest in America Act, will deliver on key priorities in President Joe Biden's Americans Jobs Plan, and they hope that the legislative text can be used to negotiate with the Senate and the White House to determine what specific policy proposals can be included as part of the recent announced bipartisan infrastructure framework. Democratic Representative Peter DeFazio in Oregon, the lead sponsor of the Invest Act, the chair of the House of Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, said at a news conference on Wednesday, "I'm suggesting that a substantial amount of the policy in our bill should be negotiated by the White House, the Senate, the House to be part of the bipartisan proposal." Now, the framework deal reached between Biden and the bipartisan group of senators last week outlines top-line spending numbers for a variety of priorities, but many of the details of this plan remain unclear. Now, the Senate bipartisan deal is an outline line, DeFazio said. There's no policy attached to their proposal. You have to have policy to do a bill. So what they're saying is this is just the framework agreement that they've passed. Now, the Invest in America Act authorizes $343 billion for roads, bridges, and safety measures, $109 billion for transit, and $95 billion for passenger and freight rails, along with $117 billion for drinking water infrastructure resources and roughly $51 billion for wastewater infrastructure, according to a fact sheet on the bill. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi praised the bill on Wednesday, calling it a strong jobs-creating package that seizes a once-in-a-century opportunity to rebuild America's infrastructure. Now, just to clarify, the legislation is an authorized measure, not an appropriation bill, and it does not include a pay-for mechanism as it came out of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and that is not a part of the committee's jurisdiction. Now, when asked how to address funding, DeFazio told reporters that this is always the sticking point, and he said there has held a number of hearings, and there are members of that committee that have multiplicities of ideas. Now, DeFazio said that I fully expect in a concert with Biden, the administration, that they will put forward proposals after we begin to meld the policy and the numbers together on the Senate side. Now, Democratic congressional leaders have been pursuing a dual-track approach for infrastructure. As you guys know here on the channel, right now they're trying to pass this bipartisan section, trying to get support from Republicans and Democrats, but simultaneously, we're hearing that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders and other progressive Democrats, they're readying the process of reconciliation so that way if these talks fall apart, they can go ahead and push through whatever they like. And we're hearing they'd like to pass over $6 trillion worth of stimulus money through this infrastructure bill. So we will see what unfolds, but they're saying one way or another, more stimulus is going to be coming through this infrastructure bill. Now, reading on, it says that while at the same time the stage for the Senate to pass a broader package with only Democratic votes through reconciliation, that could include any priorities left out of the bipartisan deal package. Now listen to this. Reading on, it says the approach has led to tensions on Capitol Hill. However, the future of the bipartisan deal is still uncertain. And those of you that follow me here on the channel know we were seeing President Biden change his mind, saying first, we have a deal. Then 2 hours later saying, I'm not passing that deal unless you also pass the second part. I thought you knew that this was a dual process. We need to pass these tandem together. Then we heard a lot of Republicans get upset, and then he went back a couple days later and changed his mind and said, I didn't mean that. There was a misunderstanding of my words. I'm going to go ahead and pass it. You just keep working along, and now we're back on track. But they are still readying both of these parts to make sure that we pass something. It says over the weekend, Biden felt compelled to walk back earlier remarks that he wouldn't sign a bipartisan bill on infrastructure unless it came paired with the reconciliation proposal, which had been met with criticism from Republicans who argued that attempting to tie the two efforts together could jeopardize the deal. Now, asked about the dual-track approach, DeFazio said, this bill stands on its own. Now, it's a very substantial portion of the American Jobs Plan, so actually it really kind of lightens the load for later action, whether it's the reconciliation or some other form to fulfill the rest of the American Jobs Plan. So what they're saying is they really feel that this framework that they put together for this first portion is going to stand alone. It's going to be able to be passed, and they'll be able to get support for it, and it will go through regardless of whether it's through reconciliation or bipartisanship. They feel that they have assembled something very solid for physical infrastructure. Now, in regards to human infrastructure, and that second portion of the infrastructure bill that's going to be providing stimulus money to families or to people, individuals, this is all good because right now this first portion, the faster that they get this moved along and passed, the sooner they're going to be able to start focusing on that second portion. And we're hearing Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and other progressives saying they want to pass this tandem together, tie the two together, and if they can do that, that means we might see this faster than expected. Now, also, if talks fall apart, we're hearing that reconciliation is being prepared right now by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders so that way they can pass through a massive package. And again, it'll also be tandem as well. But if they pass that bipartisan bill on its own for the first portion, then we'll see them also turn their focus to the second portion. So if you're somebody that's waiting for stimulus for families, for individuals, just any money that's going to end up in people's accounts, this is all good updates. But you guys, like I said, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel. And once again, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date. I know I've had a few days off while I've been moving, and I'll keep you guys up to date on the move and give you a house tour here soon as well. But as always, like I said, if you like and appreciate these updates and you made it this far and you haven't already, why why don't you go ahead and take a second to smash that like button? I would appreciate it. It just takes a second, helps me out a ton. Hit the subscribe button if this is your first time here. Come and join the Ram fam, and follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. And if you want to get some free stocks and cryptos, use the link in the description below. And if you want to see what stocks and cryptos I'm trading in real time, don't forget to join that Patreon group as well. But with that being said, you guys, hope this reaches you well. I'll be sure to keep you up to date. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.